Okay, it's a work problem, and work equals rate times time. I'll write that down for you. Work equals rate at which you work, the time you're allowed to work. And what I notice is there's four things working: A, B, C, and D. And I'm going to claim that the uppercase A's work, his rate of work is 1 over A. That means that A can do one job every A hours, and B can do one job every B hours. So they work together. I'll write this over here. And this would be 1 over A plus 1 over B times the amount of time they're allowed to work, which is 35 over 12. So what I want to do is, I want to cut to the chase on this and realize that I'm going to be writing a bunch of equations down over here. And this would equal one job. So what I want to do is, kind of just focus in on what's written down over here. I clearly see this written. Let me get my highlighter out, all right? I clearly see this written over here, all right? And, I wrote that down too, but I'm saying I clearly see it written. So I'm starting to think to myself, it's pretty easy to write these equations down, all right? And I want to make sure you know what I mean by that these equations are really simple to write down. And by writing them down, what am I doing? The next one's A and C are working. So 1 over A plus 1 over C times 14/9 would equal 1. That's written over there. And then 1 over A plus 1 over D times 21/10 would be one job. And last but not least, B and C are working together, so 1 over B times, 1 over B plus 1 over C times 10/7. All right, so I'm going to claim these equations are pretty simple to write down, right? Provided you knew it was a work problem and it's a uniform, motion type work problem where they're working at the same rates, all right? Here's the trouble, though. I got to solve the system of equations. As I do that, though, I want to claim as I do this over here, I really need to simplify these equations over here. And the way I would do it is I would write this as, I'm going to use a different letter now. I'm going to use A plus B equals 12/35. With the understanding that big A means 1 over A and the big B is 1 over B. And this makes it easier for me to deal with the problem. And this I'm going to write down A plus C is equal to 9/14. And again, it's easier for me to write down. That's the only reason I'm doing it. And this would be A plus D equals 10 over 21. And then this one would be B. And I'll look back over what I'm writing down to make sure you understand. This is uppercase C again, and that would be 7/10. All right? So let me just take a look at it. A plus B, A plus C, A plus D, B plus C. I see that. Let's see, 12/35, 9/14, 10 over 21, 7 over 10. The other thing I'd like to do is just the same denominator every single time. And to do that, I need an LCD. And the LCD is 210, which is 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. All right? So, looking at the 35, well, that's 5 times 7, right? 5 times 7 is 35. I need to do 6 over 6. And 6 times 35 is 210. 6 times 12 is 72. Well, 14 now, right? And that's 2 and 7, so I have to do 15 over 15. Well, 15 times 14 is going to be 210. And that's going to be 90 and 45, 135. Let's do this one, 10 over 10. That's going to be 100 over 210. Well, what's this going to be? 21 over 21. And that's going to be 210 on the bottom, pretty simple. That's 147. All right, so the claim now is that I think I ran out of room. So I really need to go to the whiteboard. On the whiteboard, though, I need to write a system of these equations down up here. Now, granted, you might say to yourself, I have a better way of doing it. I don't need to put this down, you put that down. We're not claiming otherwise. What we're claiming over here is that once you figure out the A, B, and the C, and the D, you'll be able to answer their question. So I need to go to the whiteboard now. and write this down. All right, let me do that right now. And I'm going to go to the whiteboard. And I want to make sure that what I'm writing down is what I have written in my notes. All right, I'm going to write it as an augmented matrix. And the augmented matrix, again, A, B, C, D, bar, a number. So I'll put this over here. And the first one's going to be 1, 1, 0, 0. And then I got a fraction, right? And that fraction, let me write it over here. Put a bar down. Put the fraction down later. And then I get 1, 0, 1, 0, right? Because it's AC. And then it's AD. And the last one's BC, right? You know what? I forgot what those numbers were. I got to go back. And I'm going to go back to my sheet. 72 over 210. Let me go back. 135 over 210. Oh, they're all over 210, right? Let me get the last two. So 72, 135, 100, and 147. Again, let me just go back. I hate to make you dizzy. 72, 135, 100, 147. Whoops, sorry about that. So let's see if I did that right. 72, 135, 100, 147. So far, so good. Here comes the trouble now. I got to do some arithmetic, and arithmetic's always a problem for me. I don't enjoy doing arithmetic, but I'm going to do it. And the way I'm going to do it is just write things down. So I'm going to say, let's see, minus 1 times row 1 plus row 2, and I'm going to give it to row 2. Well, let's take a look at that. That would give you 0, minus 1, 1, 0. Let me see if I did that right. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. Minus 1 plus 0 is minus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0, 0. And now 72, I'll take 72 from 35, right? So let me write this on the side. 28 and 35. Let's see, it's 50, 63, right? Let me write that down. 63 over 210. By the way, I know they're reducible, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to go reducing them. And the reason I need to do arithmetic, so I'm not going to do any reductions. All right? And I'm also going to do minus 1, row 1, plus row 3, and give it to row 3. And let me see if I can do that. 0, minus 1, 0, 1, and that's going to give me 28 over 210. Again, it's still reducible, but I'm not going to reduce it. Right, I'm going to get my eraser out. Let's hope I didn't make too many mistakes. And I think I'm doing row 2. And I think I'm doing row 3 too, right? And what do you get over here? 0, minus 1, 1, 0, 63 over 210. And then it's going to be 0, minus 1, 0, 1, 28 over 210. Now what? Well, I see something. And I'll tell you what I see. I see something that looks pretty easy. I'm going to take row 2 and add it to row, these are like adding equations together, row 4, and I'll put it into row 4. And what do you get there? 0, 0, 2, 0. I'm adding them together, right? 63 and 147 is 210 over 210. All right, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put that down right now. And let me write that down for you. So it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 1. I'm not 1, 2. 0. And 210 divided by 210, I'm going to reduce that. I could always go back to 210 over 210 if I wanted to. So what does it say? It says C is equal to 1 over 2. I can see that. All right? Now, why is that? If I read it, it would say 2C is equal to 1. So C is definitely 1 over 2. By the way, if you can recall, I now know what little c is. Little c is 2. It's just a reciprocal. That's all it is. I got to work my way backwards. All right? Now, by the way, I'm going to get rid of all that baby row work. And I want to continue to work through the arithmetic on the problem, or the algebra. And I got to pick another row. And the row I'm going to pick, I think this one's exhausted. I'm going to go this row now and see what I come up with. And what does it give me? It gives me minus b plus c. C is a half, right? Is equal to 63 over 210. Well, maybe I should get that half in terms of 210 again, right? Minus b plus 210, that would be 105, right? Equals 63, over 210. So minus b is going to be minus, I'm trying to do the arithmetic now. Let's see, 37 and 5, 42. Well, let me write this down. So the b, I think I can reduce that, right? So it's really, 21 times 2, 21 times 10. Or I'm just kind of reducing it. And that's 1/5. So what's b? B is 1/5. And that means a little b is 5. All right, let's keep moving. And now I'm going to go to this row. And what would that give me? Well, the b is 1/5, right? So it's going to be minus 1/5 plus the d, that's the uppercase d, is equal to 28 over 210. Well, like I say, I should have just kept it as 42 over 210. Let me write this down. So D is going to be what? It's a 2870 over 210, which is really just 1/3. So that means the lowercase d, I'm going to put d down now. D is 1/3. And that means the lowercase d is 3, which means 3 hours, if you can recall back to the original wording. All right, I guess we got most of it. I don't know if it's right, by the way. The answers are working out pretty nice, though. And I guess I didn't use this one over here, did I? So what's that one going to be? It's going to be A plus B. What's B? 1/5 is equal to 72 over 210. Well, 1/5, if you can recall, was 42 over 210. I'm sorry about that. And A would be 30 over 210, or 1/7. Let me write that down. A is 1/7. And that means lowercase a would be 7. That's 7 hours. By the way, I don't even know what the question is at this point. So I go back and read it, and I'm reading it says, how many hours would it take each to do the job alone? Well, it would take A, 7 hours. Okay. I'm checking my key. Yeah, I got that. And it would take B, 5 hours. Yep, I'm looking at my key, got that. It would take C, 2 hours. I got that. And it says it takes D, 3 hours. I got that. And by the way, I want to point out, this looks like chicken scratch. I know that when I typed up work, it's clearly stated that it takes them a certain number of hours to do the job. And certainly we've answered the question, all right? Okay, these can be difficult. Reading them can be tough. Solving them can be tough, yada, yada, yada. But the answers did turn out to be pretty nice. It was kind of a theme in algebra, by the way. Nice answers. Hard work, but nice answers. So if you need to reach out to me, my name is Ron Bannon. And again, as long as I'm not overwhelmed, if you email me, and my email address is Bannon, that's B as in boy, the @ symbol NNON.US. And, so you have a question about what's going on here, whatever. If I'm not too busy, I'll respond to you. Furthermore, I want to point out, if you think you got a better idea, but I want to point out the idea's got to be algebraic. If you're not giving me algebra, I'm not interested. I really mean that. I realize somebody say, I don't need algebra to solve that problem. Yeah, no kidding. A lot of these things you don't need algebra to solve the problem, but we're looking for algebraic solutions. We're really teaching algebra here. And that's the problem a lot of students have. They look at questions and say, I don't really like doing the algebra. If I got to do something different. No, it's a class in algebra. We're looking for algebra. But please, if you got some nice algebraic statements you want to come up with, not a bad idea. Maybe even creating a YouTube video. Again, if I use it, I'll put your name in the notes, and you'll be linked in the notes as well. But then again, thank you for paying attention.